Appreciate you joining us here. I'll start with a couple of thoughts here. Just first of all, most obvious question: how does it feel to be leading this team to the Final Four, first time in program history?
It's a little surreal, but I don't know. Like we've been saying for so many years, if we can just get in the tournament, I think we could have done this back in 2019, but they didn't let us in. We didn't get the automatic qualification. So as cool as it is, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I believe that we can do this. So I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag for sure.
Sorry, no, I didn't unmute myself. This program went from being a program that was good and then great and ranked, and they would occasionally beat some ranked teams, but never could get over that UConn hump, and never could quite win the championship. Where did that change occur? Where did this team get over that proverbial hump, so to speak, to become a team that can win a national championship now?
I think it probably started last year when we beat UConn for the first time. Because it was no longer something that we had to convince them that they could do, but they knew that they could do, right? UNC is another marquee win. I don't have to convince them that they can beat a storied program like UNC because they know that they can beat a storied program like UNC. So I think probably last season things really started clicking for us.
And last one for me, and then we'll get to some media here. I think that the term has been open hands that you all have used here for a while. Tell me about that and just the mentality that this team has embraced here over the last weeks.
Yeah, so Open Hands really was born out of not making the NCAA tournament last year again, and really feeling like from an RPI standpoint and all those different markers that the NCAA says that's the criteria that they use to decide who makes the NCAA tournament. And just like, okay, we started in the football team room and wanted to make amends with the fact that like we could get to the end of this season, like when we started back in August, and still hypothetically have the same result. And what were we going to do with that? Like, I don't know, we always say, are you going to trust God like when things are going good and when they're going bad? I don't know, and just having open hands saying, okay, Lord, like you truly have a plan for this program, and I wanted the timing to be my timing last spring when I thought we should have 100% been in the NCAA tournament, but that door was closed for us, and so we really just felt like, okay, like we wanted to make amends with that and be like, okay, Jesus, whatever your plans are for this group, we're going to trust you. It doesn't mean we're not going to give 100% of what we have, because he still calls us to do that. He calls us to, whatever we do, work at it with all of our heart as working for him, but then really to just have that open hands and surrender and that trust piece that we're going to be where we need to be when God wants us to be there.
Open it up to questions from the media now for Lady Flames head coach Nikki Parsley-Blocker. We'll start with Damian Sordelett from the Lynchburg Youth Advance.
Hey, Nikki. When we talked to you and a couple of girls last week, and specifically Kendra and Jill, they said that their fondest memories from their time at Liberty was winning the Big East and getting to the NCAA tournament. Is all of this now icing on the cake for them, or are they rewriting new memories for beating St. Joe's for the first win in the first round, and then beating a top-ranked team for the first time in program history to get to the Final Four?
I think that'd be a really good question to ask them. I don't know. I think there's just a tremendous amount of gratitude, just because like it is a good gift that we've been given. Like it's an awesome season. It's so different than being like kind of how Nick alluded to in a season of sowing and not getting the results or not getting the credit or not getting the selection, right? But I think, everything we're just trying to be, it's really humbling, to be perfectly honest, just trying to be humble and grateful for the opportunity to be in this position.
Let's go next to Luke Randall from the Liberty Champion, I believe. Mm-hmm.
All right. Coach, what do the next few days look like as far as practice and then getting ready to go up to Ann Arbor?
Yeah, so one of our biggest goals is to try to keep things as consistent as possible. You spend all season preparing for this moment, so our week, we gave the girls off today, even though you don't have to once you get to NCAA postseason. But at this point, we're fine-tuning really what we're doing. And yeah, we're going to make some tactical adjustments to take care of Maryland on Friday. But at the end of the day, that's why we've done all this hard work to put ourselves in a position. So having the girls recovered, got massages coming their way tomorrow, just getting them in a good headspace will really be the priority headed into Friday.
Go to John Manson from a Sea of Red.
Hi, Coach. Nice to speak to you. First off, congratulations on a great year to this point. Liberty Athletics has had a lot of success across the board the past few years, particularly under Ian McCaw's leadership. But as a team, no team has ever been able to, get to that next hump to win a national championship. For your team, your program, 2 games away from that, how special does it mean for you to be able to represent Liberty on a national stage like this?
It definitely makes me feel emotional. There's no doubt about that. I always say there's nowhere else in the country that I'd rather be coaching, because I think that we can win a national championship in a countercultural way. And I have no greater pride than being able to say that I get to freely and openly represent Jesus while doing it.
Next up, let's go to Leah Secundo from the ESPN or the TV broadcast. I'm not sure what network, but Leah, go ahead.
It's on Saturday and Sunday, Friday, all weekend it'll be with the ESPN group. Thank you. Coach, nice to see you again.
Hi, Leah.
You made history last time we had you on the air down in Carolina. It was a great game by your team. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're going against potentially 2 coaches that, when you were playing, you were involved with as a player in Missy, and I don't know if Turk was with Missy back then in Maryland or not, but potentially 3 coaches, right?
Yep.
What does that mean for you as a former Big Ten player, and to go against, especially, potentially Tracy at some point?
I just think, what an incredible opportunity. I just have so much respect. I really respect Cherrick, but in particular, Tracy is, such a huge reason that I'm even in this position. It was the biggest blessing to get to play her earlier in the season in a regular season game. And, Missy is someone, I grew up in Delaware and used to go to all the Maryland games as a fan. So, she's one of, the legends of the sport. There's no doubt about that. So just an incredible opportunity. How cool is that? I think just to be on and sharing a sideline with both of those women would be incredible.
Can I follow up with that? Yeah, thank you. Your defense has been spectacular. 7 shutouts this year and 4 one-goal games you guys have been in. Can you talk about the defense and the important piece with them in the back and just how great they have been?
Yeah, I think it's huge, that corny phrase, offense wins games, defense wins championships. You got to have a stellar defense in order to do it. I think, Bethany Dykema and Ashley Dykema Pereira, Jody Conley, Maddie Hostler, they're all leading the way with Azul and Cage for us. So, we got to keep it close on Friday. There's no doubt about that, but we're super excited. I think that they can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the country.
Thank you.
Just to follow up to that, too, in a shootout, Azul was back there by herself. How impressive was she yesterday against Rutgers?
She was amazing. I knew that she would be. I don't mean that arrogantly, but you watch her every day at practice and you know her strengths and her weaknesses, and that's just a strength of hers in that moment, the athleticism that she has as a goalkeeper. It's why she's represented Argentina at the highest level. So I felt, pretty confident, but I knew we were going to go up against a really good goalie as well. But from a defensive standpoint, that's definitely a moment that Azul can shine in.
Let's go back to Damien now.
And Nikki, Leia sort of stole my question angle, but the broadcast over this past weekend was focusing on how strong your offense has been. I believe you lead the nation in goals per game. What's been a key to being able to produce on that end when the defense has been so stellar behind them?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the marquee of any good team, any team that's going to make the Final Four. You can't just have one one star. It's just too easy to shut. It's not too easy to shut one person down, but it's easier to shut one person down. I think of like years past when we had, Aggie, and we didn't quite have the supporting cast that we do now. And I think it's just on any given day, Martu can score, Danny can score, Shar, Jill, the midfielder, Lizzie Hamlet has 9 goals on the season. So it's not just coming from one person. So, it just makes it more difficult for, an opposition when they can't just hone in on one kid.
Let's go to Luke, and then if Leah's got another one, we'll go back to Leah.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the tactical changes that would need to be made before UMD. Are you going to keep pressing with the high line? Can you give me any insight into that?
Yeah, so I think that's a really great question, and philosophically, I never want to become a coach that gets so prideful in what we do and who we are as Liberty Field Hockey that we're not willing to adjust. I try to be a student of the game myself, and sometimes I think that in these big moments, coaches aren't willing to change what they need to change because they just want to be whoever they are, wherever they go. And so, it's something we're definitely going to take a hard look at because I think from a statistical standpoint, everything our code window tells us, we're a very good pressing team, but I'm also not afraid to change something if I think it's going to be, a game-changing moment to take something away from Maryland that we need to.
Coach, do you feel as though there was any type of defining moment, could be on the field or off the field, with this group this year?
Oh, goodness. Oh, there are just so many small moments. I think that's kind of, I don't know, like something that's so special is like it's not necessarily the big thing that you would think of, but, the little moments where you're just sitting and you're playing card games with the kids and like in between, I don't know, like breakfast and when we're getting ready to leave for the games over the weekend. It's just the camaraderie on this team and the connection is so tangible and palpable when you're around them. So I would say it's just all of those little moments that are really special.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead. Excuse me. I'll go ahead and end with one here. Just Nikki, I know we've talked this year. You mentioned how just wanting to commend the girls on how they've shown up every day and gone to work every day, and it's been a consistent thing. At this point now, going into playing for a national title here potentially, how much do you work to try to keep things the same heading into this game and just that consistency of a normal week?
I think you're spot on, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. There's no reason for us to go and think we need to reinvent the wheel when at the end of the day, the game is going to be as big as we make it. And we've been saying that in the postseason. Don't make the game bigger than what the game is. It's still going to be field hockey. It's still going to be the same parameters of the field. It's still going to be the same people, the same coaches. And at this point, right, this is where you have to trust your training, and that you have earned your right to be here. You have put yourself in a position. You've done the hard work to now just go out with open hands and freedom. I get to go, right? It's not one last time. It's one more time. We get to go out one more time and play a game that we love with people that we love. So that's really where the emphasis is going to be. And I think also, from everyone I've talked to, from coaches that have actually been to the Final Four before, just really soaking in the moments and having a tremendous amount of gratitude, because there are some coaches that go their entire career and they never make a Final Four. And so that's just not something that we're going to overlook. It's an incredible blessing. So we're super grateful for the opportunity.